Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take, those really complex topics and we try to break them down,
Mhm.
into something we can all understand. Today, we're diving into Gorilla Technology Group. You might know them as GRRR on the NASDAQ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing some pretty cool stuff with AI and cybersecurity, and especially in the smart city space. And to help me, sort through all this and really make sense of it all, we've got our expert here with us today. Now they're amazing at connecting the dots and seeing the bigger picture no matter what field we're talking about. And today's topic's no exception. Gorilla Technology has had uh, quite a ride, let's say. They went from, reporting losses to bringing in some really impressive profits. They've also got their eyes set on, expanding globally.
Right.
And get this, they're even developing their own AI-powered GPUs.
Wow.
It's really interesting stuff, and we're going to unpack it all for you today.
Yeah, this is definitely a company that's been on my radar for a while now. And the thing that really grabbed my attention is how they've transformed their business model. They used to be all about the hardware, but they've made the strategic shift to providing high-value products and services, all powered by AI and deep learning, of course. And we're talking about a whole suite of offerings here. Smart city solutions, network security, video analytics, you name it, they've got it.
So it sounds like they're not just selling the tools anymore. They're selling the brains behind the operation.
Exactly. In a world where data is king, they're the ones who can help you make sense of it all.
That makes a lot of sense. But for someone like me, who's not exactly a tech whiz, can you give me like a real world example of what these solutions actually do?
Oh, absolutely. So let's look at their work with law enforcement, for instance. They actually helped the London Metropolitan Police secure convictions in a really complex homicide investigation. And they did this by using their AI-powered video analytics.
Like,
Yeah, their technology is being used to analyze footage, identify suspects, and even piece together evidence.
so they're actually helping to solve crimes.
It's a game changer for crime solving.
That's amazing. I imagine that their work goes beyond just law enforcement, though, right?
Oh, for sure. They've partnered with the Royal Thai Tourist Police to make things safer for visitors using AI-powered facial recognition. They're also helping to turn Santa Marta in Colombia into a full-fledged smart city. And that means using their technology to do things like optimize traffic flow, manage energy consumption, and just overall improve public safety.
Wow. Seems like they're having a real global impact. And speaking of global reach, let's talk about their move to develop their own AI-powered GPUs. They're partnering with EdgeCore Networks and using Intel's Gaudi architecture. That's a pretty bold move. What's the strategy there, and why is this such a big deal?
Well, it is a big deal because GPUs are essentially the brains behind AI, They provide the processing power needed to run those complex algorithms and analyze huge amounts of data. And by developing their own GPUs, Gorilla Technology is really trying to fill a gap in the market. They want to offer high performance, but also cost-effective solutions, and specifically to regions that have been kind of overlooked by the big players in AI computing.
So they're not just creating another GPU, they're making this crucial technology more accessible.
That's exactly it. It's a real game changer.
So our listeners, the stock explorers out there, what does this move tell us about their growth potential, about their ambitions as a company?
I think it shows that they're playing the long game. They're not satisfied with just being a software provider. They want to control the whole ecosystem. They want to be the one-stop shop for AI solutions, from hardware to software and everything in between. And that to me says that they're serious about becoming a major player on the global AI stage.
Okay, so we've got this company making waves with its technology, expanding all over the world. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Gorilla Technology's financial performance has been, well, let's just say it's been a bit of a roller coaster. But in 2023, they made this huge jump from losses to a profit of $19.9 million. That's a 123% increase year over year.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So help us understand this turnaround, especially considering they don't release quarterly financial reports.
Right. Well, that jump to profitability is definitely something to pay attention to. Now, as a foreign private issuer, Gorilla is only required to report annually.
Can you explain what that means for those of us who aren't familiar with that term? What is a foreign private issuer, and why are the reporting requirements different?
Sure. So basically, it means they're a company that's incorporated outside of the U.S. but trades on a U.S. exchange. And because of that, they don't have to file those quarterly reports that U.S.-based companies do.
So their latest annual report shows strong cash flow and improvements in their operational efficiency. But we don't have the most up-to-date picture of their financials.
Right.
So is that lack of quarterly data a red flag, or is it just part of their unique situation?
It's definitely something to keep in mind. Their annual reports and business updates look good, but not having that quarterly breakdown makes it harder to get a real-time assessment of their financial health. It really depends on how important that level of transparency is to you as an investor.
And to make things even more interesting, Gorilla Technology just announced a share buyback program of up to $6 million. Dollars. Is that a sign of confidence in their valuation?
Well, it's certainly an interesting move. The CEO's been pretty vocal about believing that the market is undervaluing the company, so the buyback could be seen as them putting their money where their mouth is. It suggests they think their stock is a bargain right now,
Yeah.
and they're willing to invest in themselves.
So, a bold statement backed up by action. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into Gorilla Technology. We've seen how they've changed their business model, expanded globally, and even taken steps to control their own hardware. But we've also uncovered some questions about their financial transparency and the potential risks that come with their ambitious growth strategy. When we come back, we'll delve even deeper into these complexities and explore whether Gorilla Technology is a company worth betting on. Stay tuned.
It's a fascinating move for sure. And, it really adds another layer to things when you consider how outspoken the CEO has been about, feeling undervalued. This isn't just some financial maneuver, it's a statement. It's them saying, we believe in ourselves,
Right.
And it makes you wonder if that same boldness is what's driving their global expansion plans, especially their push into the MENA region.
Yeah, they've announced a new distribution company in Egypt, and they're talking about investing up to $100 million there. What's so special about that region?
Well, I think they see a huge opportunity there. The MENA region is going through a major digital transformation. Governments are really focused on smart city initiatives. And for a company like Gorilla Technology, with their AI and cybersecurity solutions that are perfect for those needs, it's like a gold mine.
So they're getting in on the ground floor of this smart city boom in a region that's really eager for these solutions.
Yeah.
That's smart, but I imagine it comes with its own set of challenges, right?
Of course, the MENA region is incredibly diverse. You've got different political situations, cultural nuances, and regulatory frameworks. Guerrilla Technology is going to have to be very careful and adapt their approach to each market.
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. They'll need to be sensitive to the culture, aware of the politics, and really flexible to be successful. But it sounds like they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. Their expansion goes beyond just the MENA region, right?
Exactly. They've already got offices in the UK and India. They're building partnerships in Latin America, and they're expanding their existing presence in Southeast Asia. They're really casting a wide net and trying to become a global leader in the smart city space.
It seems like their ambition has no limits. Let's step back for a second and go back to the basics of their technology. The CEO often talks about security convergence. Can you explain what that means in simple terms, and how does that set them apart from their competitors?
Sure. So security convergence is all about breaking down the walls between traditional security systems. Instead of having separate systems for things like video surveillance, cybersecurity, and access control, they're bringing it all together under one AI-powered platform.
Okay, so a more integrated approach to security. What makes that so innovative?
Imagine a city where traffic flows smoothly based on real-time incident detection, where crime is prevented before it even happens through predictive analysis, and emergency responses are coordinated seamlessly across different agencies. That's the power of security convergence.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It sounds like they're not just selling products, but a whole new vision of a safer and more efficient future. But let's be realistic for a second. Any company working with cutting-edge technology is bound to run into some roadblocks. What are some of the challenges that Gorilla Technology might face as they try to achieve this global domination?
You're absolutely right. One of the biggest challenges is going to be managing their rapid growth effectively. They need to scale their operations without sacrificing quality, maintain a consistent brand message across all these different markets, and make sure they have the talent and infrastructure to support this global expansion.
Right, it's not just about getting the contracts, it's about delivering on those promises and making sure they're providing top-notch service across different time zones and cultures. That's a lot to handle.
It is. And another potential challenge is navigating all the different regulations in each country. Data privacy laws, cybersecurity standards, government approvals, they all vary so much. It makes it tough to have a standardized approach.
It's like a global game of chess where the rules change depending on where you move. They'll need to be really adaptable and stay informed to succeed.
Exactly. And they can't forget about their technology. AI and cybersecurity are always evolving, so Guerrilla Technology needs to constantly innovate, adapt, and invest in research and development to stay ahead of the curve.
It's a never-ending race. So a lot for our Stock Explorers listeners to think about if they're considering investing in Gorilla Technology. It's a company with a bold vision and the potential to change the world. But it also comes with the challenges of operating in a fast-paced and ever-changing industry.
You put it perfectly. It's a great story, but it has its risks.
Yeah.
It all comes down to weighing the potential rewards against the potential downsides and deciding if guerrilla technology is the right fit for your investment style.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive. Their business model, global goals, the core of their technology, and the challenges they face. But before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. When we come back, we'll share some key takeaways and offer our final thoughts to help you navigate this exciting and complex investment landscape. Stay with us. All right, welcome back, Stock Explorers listeners. We've been taking a deep dive into Gorilla Technology Group, the company that's really shaking things up with their AI solutions and their, bold vision for what smart cities can be. And we've really dug into their business model, their global goals, even the potential risks they face. But, before we wrap up, I want to touch on something we haven't really talked about yet, the human element.
Yeah, that's a great point. We tend to focus on the numbers and the technology, all that, but companies are run by people, right? And guerrilla technology, well, they seem to be very much influenced by their CEO, Jay Chandan.
Yeah, he's definitely not your typical CEO. He's not afraid to speak his mind. He's passionate. Some might even say a little controversial. He's always ready to challenge the status quo, whether it's about, the market undervaluing them or people trying to damage their reputation.
Exactly. And that willingness to fight for what he believes in it kind of permeates the whole company culture. They're not just building a business, it's like they're building a movement. They're innovators, disruptors, and they're not afraid to shake things up a bit.
It's definitely a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of the, kind of boring corporate world.
Hmm.
But could that boldness, that willingness to push the limits,
Hmm.
could it be a risk too? Could it lead to, rash decisions or maybe even alienate some investors who prefer a more cautious approach?
It's possible. I mean, there's a fine line between being a visionary leader and being reckless. I guess only time will tell if his approach will ultimately help or hurt the company in the long run.
It's a tricky balance. So we have this company with a passionate leader, cutting-edge technology, a global vision. But like any investment, there are factors to consider uncertainties. What are the key takeaways for our listeners, for the stock explorers out there who are trying to figure out if Gorilla Technology is a company worth investing in?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that this is a company in transition, a company with huge potential, but also some inherent risks. They've made some impressive progress, transforming their business model, reaching profitability, establishing themselves in key markets. But they're also operating in a very fast-paced industry, facing tough competition and navigating a complex regulatory landscape.
So it's a story that's still unfolding. It's exciting, dynamic, but maybe not for the risk averse.
Exactly. For investors, it really comes down to this. Do you buy into their vision? Do you trust their leadership? Are you comfortable with the level of risk involved? Those are the questions each investor has to answer for themselves.
And as always, we encourage everyone to do their own research. Really dig into those financials and think about how Gorilla Technology fits into your overall investment strategy.
They've had a remarkable journey so far, and the future's full of possibilities, both good and bad. It's a story worth following, and it raises a crucial question for anyone interested in AI and smart cities. Does their ambition and recent performance outweigh those concerns about transparency and market volatility?
It's a question only you, the listener, can answer. And that's what makes the deep dive so engaging. We're not here to tell you what to invest in. We're here to give you the knowledge and insights you need to make smart decisions. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Gorilla Technology Stock Explorers listeners. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the world of innovation and investment. Until next time, keep exploring.